Welcome to another episode of It Takes a Viking, the official podcast of the Salem State University Alumni Association. My name is Mike Mitchell, Associate Director of Alumni Relations here at Salem State. Very excited to welcome to the show today from the class of 2015, Katie Pustizzi, the Director of the Aurora Borealis Dance Company. Katie, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're very excited to have you with us. Lots of exciting things happening with Aurora Borealis right now. We're going to get into those in just a little bit. But first, the first question we like to ask everybody that comes on the show is, what brought you to Salem State? How did you end up here?
Awesome. So I started my undergrad journey actually at a ballet conservatory out of state. And within the first few days of being there, I knew it wasn't right for me. So I started to look into other opportunities where I could pursue dance, but where I had the flexibility and the freedom and the support to also pursue my own career outside of my academic pursuits and studies. So I saw a class, participated in a modern class here at Salem State, and then I just knew that it was the right place for me. So I came in, I would say January of 2012.
Okay, and then so we flash forward a few years, 2015. Well, you mentioned when we were talking offline, you finished fall of 2014, so technically you're a 2015 grad. So you've been out for about 7 years now. What does life look like for you since graduating from Salem State? What have you been up to?
I recently got my MFA in choreography from Wilson College. I've been pursuing a lot of choreographic work. I teach a lot within the higher ed realm and also in different independent schools and with youth. Mostly teaching exploratory styles of dance. So I'm talking about like improvisation, contemporary, teaching students how to choreograph and how to compose movement. And then I've also been doing a lot of traveling. I got the opportunity to dance in Israel. This summer, I spent 5 weeks dancing in Italy. So it's been exciting and it's all really been filled with dance, which is wonderful.
So staying busy to say the very least. So let's talk a little bit about kind of your current project, because I know, again, when we were talking offline, we talked about the initial days of Aurora Borealis working with some of the younger audience and some of the older audience, but recently you made a decision to transition the program into a more project-based working with an older audience. Talk a little bit about kind of what you were doing then, what you're doing now, and kind of what was the reason behind wanting to make this change.
Awesome. Yeah, I founded Aurora Borealis Dance Company during my first semester at Salem State. And I ran the company for a decade, and it was a youth company, but it was for dancers who really want to take the art form seriously, and their journey through the art form needed mentorship, needed guidance. So I worked with many different dancers throughout those 10 years. In year 7 or 8, I knew that I wanted to start making a shift, specifically because I wanted my focus of my work to be about my art. When you're running a youth company, there's so much responsibility for like guiding the young people, and I loved that. That was like my favorite part of Aurora Borealis, was helping these young people to figure out who they are, what their point of view is, what kind of an artist can they be, and supporting them on that journey. But I knew as I was getting later into my career that I wanted to really start creating art that probably needed an older cast because of the content of that art. So I know that this might seem a little crazy, but when COVID hit, it kind of just felt like an opportunity for me to shift and to pivot. So year 10 came and I started to make this transition, and Aurora Borealis is now kind of just like archived as this amazing, 10-year dance company. And now I'm starting a new project called Liquid Spine. And it's a global dance series that explores the interconnectedness of our water systems via the lens of ecology and conservation. So I'm creating films, I'm going to be creating pieces live for performances, and the intent is to go global with it. Really excited about it.
And I know that that's going to lead up to kind of your premiere date of September 17th. Talk a little bit about what that day looks like, what things are going to be going on.
Great. So I just a few weeks ago, I created the first liquid spine film, and it was filmed in Gloucester. And wherever I go to create a liquid spine film, the content or the narrative or the story of that piece will be about what is going on in those places environmentally. What is the area of need that we need to address? So one of the areas of need that I recognize through research and through talking to people that live in the Cape Ann area is that there's a lot of trash and pollution that really litter the beaches and are littering the oceans and the waterways. So the piece that I created, that I recorded and I'm currently editing, is about that. And I have 3 dancers that are in that film. And that piece will be debuted on September 17th, which is International Coastal Cleanup Day, after a community-wide beach cleanup where we're inviting everybody to come and to take action and be a part of cleaning up the beaches and the waterways, specifically of Good Harbor Beach. And then the film will debut alongside a list of international films from different artists that I've curated, all dance related, that are speaking to the environment, that are environmental activists and want to promote change through their art form.
Well, certainly an incredible undertaking.
Thank you.
If people are interested in learning more about the project and some of the other events around it, I know you have a social presence. Where can folks find you on social medias?
Yeah, our growing Instagram page is liquid.spine. And also tomorrow, all of the registration information for the event will be on Magma's website. So Magma is Movement Arts, Gloucester, Massachusetts, and they are so kind to host the film festival. So they'll be responsible for kind of the ticketing information per se. If you want to join the beach cleanup, or if you want to join just the film festival, if you want to come to both, you can go through their website to do that. And Seaside Sustainability is also helping us, partnering with me to host this beach cleanup. So they'll have information on their pages as well.
Incredible. And we'll put all of that on the screen as folks are watching, so they can figure out where to follow along. Okay, so we've kind of encapsulated what you've been up to since you left Salem State.
Yeah.
Let's go back to your time here. Looking back, knowing what you know now, if you knew it then, is there anything you would change in terms of what brought you to where you are now?
I wish that I was a bit more open as a student and as an artist when I was in my undergraduate years. That's something that I wish I could have changed, just because I think I could have learned more and explored a little bit further. I definitely came in to my undergraduate experience thinking that I knew way more than I did, and was a little bit stubborn in that. You know, as a dance artist, I've been training since I was 4 years old, and I've known that I've wanted to do this since I was 4 years old. So it's also a shift to come into a different environment where you're learning about new styles and learning about different influences on the form that weren't necessarily on your radar before. So I just wish that I was more open to absorbing all the newness. I definitely changed my mindset on that after leaving Salem State, I think. So I think, yeah, that would just be one thing that I would change. Other than that, I really enjoyed my experience.
Do you have kind of one hallmark memory that sticks out to you from your time here, whether it's a class, an extracurricular experience, anything like that?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the gala that a group of dancers and I performed in, but it was this big gala where they set up, they basically created like a stage in the round for us to perform on. And I remember like being on this circle stage and being on it and dancing off of it and dancing in and around the tables of these people at this like beautiful gala that Salem State hosted. And it was really cool to be a part of a performance in this way that felt site specific. It didn't feel like a typical proscenium, but it still had a lot of eyes and, you know, a variety of audience members. And I do remember that the dancers in the performance, we were very much a part of the process, I believe, with Professor Megan McClyman. And yeah, that was one of my favorite performances.
I'm wondering if that might have been the campaign launch event from our 10,000 Reasons campaign.
It definitely was. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's always nice to hear, that kind of full circle moment, because we're in the quiet phases of planning another campaign now. So
Mm,
there will be some kind of large scale launch event. So it's nice to hear that kind of one of your memories is from your time performing at that event. That's really nice.
yeah.
Um, so say you're in front of a class of performing arts students, they're entering their senior year, getting ready to go out there and take on the world. What's your biggest piece of advice you're giving them at this point?
Mm. I think that I wish I could have given myself this advice too. Is that there's not one path that you need to follow, that there are so many different routes and opportunities for you to explore what you want to pursue and what you're passionate about. Um, for me, for a while, I really thought that there was one path that I had to follow. I thought, I had to go to school, and then when I leave school, I had to be a professional dancer in a company that was at a certain level or tier. And by level or tier, I just mean like how well known they are, or where they travel and tour and what theaters they perform in. It felt very much about like the big names and what I was getting on my resume. And that's one route, and it's a really awesome route, but it's not the only route. And this, of course, isn't just about dance. This could be about anybody's profession or journey, that you can find different routes that suit you best. And even if you're not going along the same path as a lot of people, I'm sure that you're picking up amazing learning experiences that you can bring into what you want to do in the future. So just like be really strong and confident in your own journey, even if it's different than other people's.
And one of the things that you said a little while ago was, I know that I knew I wanted to be a dancer since I was 4 years old. Let's just pretend that at 4, you didn't know you were going to be a dancer for the rest of your life. Do you think you could see yourself doing anything else at this point? And if so, what would it be?
Yeah, I mean, especially with my new project, it's so much about like aquatic environments and, sustainability and environmental activism. I think I would probably do something in the water, like be a marine biologist. I'm really interested in coral reef restoration right now. And I love being in the ocean. I feel very comfortable in the water. So maybe something like that I could see myself doing that.
Okay. And then our last question for you before we let you go. What does it mean to be a member of the Salem State community to you?
I think it's about like continuous connections. I like came to Salem State and didn't have any connections to the people on campus, even to the North Shore community. And during my time there, I made so many connections with people at school, with professors, with, fellow students. And I've just been able to continue utilizing those connections. And I've been able to continue talking to people that I've met at Salem State. And I've also been invited to come back to Salem State many times. And it's awesome. I love to expand on the connections that I formed during my time here. I was an artist in residence in the spring of 2021, and I'm here talking with you now. I was on a panel for a dance entrepreneurship class, and I know that if I need support, I can always come back to Salem State. So I'm also super grateful for that support, and constant connections. I'll say that. Yeah.
Perfect. Love it. So listen, really appreciate your time, Katie. I know the next several weeks are going to be very busy for you while you kind of unroll the new project. Wish you all the very best with it as everything moves forward. Congratulations. It looks like it's going to be incredible. Don't forget to follow along Liquid Spine on Instagram. We'll put the information on the screen for folks to follow along. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Really can't wait to see the project, and we wish you the continued best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your support.
And thanks for joining us, Katie. And that was Katie Pustizzi, 2015 graduate from Salem State, director of the Aurora Borealis Dance Company, founder of the Liquid Spine Project, premiering September 17th. Be sure to stay tuned, follow along, and watch and see Katie's continued growth and development. And until next time, thanks for watching It Takes a Viking, the official podcast of the Salem State University Alumni Association.